Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Duke of Italy, your favorite lo-fi music YouTuber, and welcome to Quickies. Because today, we're going to talk a little bit about Insurmountable, the EP by the band Primitive Man. Now, this is a series that, if you don't know, I'm going to take less than 5 minutes and talk about a release that I find interesting for some reason. And normally it'll boil down to just one main word, but I have a bunch of reasons why I'm going to be talking about Insurmountable today by the famed Colorado first ever death sludge band, Primitive Man. Now, this is a band I saw live back in, I think, March. I did a review of the show, and pretty much a couple days later, I think right after I posted the review for that, I listened to this EP. Now, one of the reasons I'm talking about it today is it's 38 minutes long, but it's called an EP. Primitive Man has a shorter full-length LP called an album that's shorter than this EP right here. Why is it an EP? I'm thinking because there's a cover on it. Maybe it's because it's shorter than most of their full-length albums that are of this death sludge style. They do, apparently their one shorter album is just Harsh Noise, but we're going to get into the Harsh Noise stuff. So what are the elements of this band that you really need to understand to really get a grasp on why they're so interesting, so moving nowadays, why they provide such a reaction amongst everyone who listens? Now, a lot of metal elitists on Twitter and many other websites, and I hate using that term because I think it's so stupid, because a lot of times they'll kind of disregard more trendy bands, or rather, in my opinion, bands that break the mold. Bands like Death Heaven, Altar of Plagues, bands like that. But the worst example of a band to be criticized as a sort of trendy band for breaking the mold now, in my opinion, is Primitive Man. Because some people have referred to them as entry-level doom, entry-level this, easy listening this. This couldn't be farther from the truth. This is a band that combines death metal, doom metal, drone metal, emphasis on the drone metal, and a lot of times harsh noise. And you need to look no further than Insurmountable to see all of these elements coming together, because out of 4 songs, you have just one of the most harrowing experiences that most full lengths really can't get you. And again, this is the length of a full length album. One of the reasons I'm actually reviewing this thing today is because I was gonna probably put it on my year-end list, and it's not an album, it's an EP for some reason, but I wanted to talk about it anyways. And so I thought about kicking this series off with a release that actually matters for a lot of reasons. First of all, this is one of the most crushing releases of the whole year, as far as I can tell. I've listened to some death metal, listened to plenty of black metal, listened to a bit of harsh noise. None of it's really gotten me there in terms of a crushing, depressed feeling, except for maybe one black metal album, which is the Minima album. With all these elements combined, you've got the crushiest, pretty standard sounding sludge metal tone, but given so much sustain, so much feedback, it's insane. It makes most drone metal sound tame in comparison. Really huge variety in terms of pacing. Thou is another sort of trendy-ish band that kind of did this again recently, which had these huge varieties in pacing. But if you take Thou and how they can go pretty slow and made it way slower, you're gonna reach more of the Primitive Man territory. And in terms of vocals, the vocalist is this guy who just is bellowing. He is roaring this whole time. It's not your typical death metal growl. It's not a deep groan, but you hear a very clear vowel sound as he is bellowing, like some sort of, a primitive man might, it's like some sort of gorilla man, or like a Neanderthal on top of a mountain banging his chest with the bone of one creature and like the fang of another, and almost like bellowing to some sort of like ancient pagan god of like the sky or something like that. These are all images you might get while listening to this music or seeing them live, because it certainly did for me. This album consists of 4 songs, one of which is a cover of Quiet by Smashing Pumpkins, and you wouldn't recognize it because this is the most harrowing version of that song ever. And there's also a song known as Boiled, which is a harsh noise piece where I think they just use their guitar pedals to absolutely squish all the goo out from your head. Your gray matter will be on the floor. Now, this album, in one word: heavy. Heavy, heavy, heavy. It will crush you into dust. And that's about 5 minutes. So that's it. Like and subscribe. Have a good day.